Hey everyone, my name is Carly and this has been going around and I decided to jump on the bandwagon and do the mid-year book freakout tag because it's almost the end of June, so it's almost halfway through the year, I guess. This is so weird because so much stuff has happened this year and it feels weird that it's already halfway through the year. But I've seen this going around, I really liked it, and I decided to do it myself. So we're just gonna get right in. First question. The best book you read so far this year. I decided to go with The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I absolutely adored, loved anything good about this book. I loved it. It was so good. It was so magical. As I've mentioned many times before when I've talked about it, I read this back in like March and I almost immediately wanted to go back and reread it. And I still, when I was thinking of this tag, I'm like, The Night Circus. I want to reread that. And that never happens to me. I do have a book talk on this. I'll leave that link down below. But yeah, I loved this book. It was so good and it just exceeded my expectations. I loved it. The second question is the best sequel you have read so far this year. For this one, I ended up going with Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. I really liked it. I thought it was a great continuation from Six of Crows. I did not want to leave these characters behind. I love them so much, and just thinking about it, I want to get back. I want to reread this. I did have some issues with it, but that did not deter me from really enjoying it. And again, I do have a book talk on both Six of Crows and this book. I'll leave in the description box below if you wanted to watch it. But yeah, it was a great sequel to Six of Crows. I really liked it, and it makes me so sad that we aren't going to have any more of these characters. Like, the third question is a new release that you haven't read yet but you want to. I don't have an answer for this because all the new releases that I know of that have come out that I wanted to read, I have read. Like, The Upside of Unrequited, new release, I have read. I wanted to read it, I read it. Once and For All by Sarah Dessen, new release, I went and bought it and I just read it. So yeah, there's just not a new release that was released yet that I want to read but I haven't read yet. I just kind of going to get them. The next question is the most anticipated release for the next half of this year. And for me, it hands down has to go to All of the Crooked Saints by Maggie Stiefvater. I think it comes out in October. And I am so excited for this. I love Maggie Stiefvater. The Raven cycle is like my favorite series. I loved it. I loved her writing. It's so magical. I even read the Scorpio races, and while I wasn't my favorite, it was just okay, but I loved her writing and I am so excited for this new book of hers to come out. I cannot wait for it. I can't wait to get my hands on it. And the next question is the biggest disappointment so far this year. I don't really like talking about it because I love series, but if you saw my unhaul video, then this might not be so surprised, but it's going to be A Darker Shade of Magic by B.E. Schwab. I had heard so many good things about it, still hear so many good things about it. Like, it is so well loved, so many people love this, and it has such a cool premise, and I wanted to go in and love it, and I ended up hating it. I really did not like it. I found a lot of the characters were boring to me. One in particular I did not like. The entire time I was reading about them, I was like, stop being so, like, this is so stupid, you're so stupid, stop it. But yeah, I did not like this at all, and I wanted to so badly, and it will be the biggest disappointment of this year because I really did not like this. The next question is your biggest surprise for this year. I'm going with The Trials of Apollo by Rick Riordan. But as I mentioned before in the book talk with this, I wasn't the biggest fan. Well, I shouldn't say biggest fan. But the Kane Chronicles and the Magnus Chase series didn't quite live up to what I've come to love. And so I was a little worried going into this that I might not like it as much as Percy Jackson and Heroes of Olympus. And I thought maybe that I was just being turned away. Like what I liked and stuff wasn't in line with his books anymore. But I read this and I was very happily surprised to say that I loved it. It was so good. It's like what I love about Rick Riordan. It was, I think it's some of his at his best, and I was not expecting to love this as much as I did. So it's definitely one of the biggest surprises so far for me this year. The next question is a favorite new author that you have started reading this year. I decided to go with Morgan Matson. I have The Unexpected Everything here, and I also picked up Since You've Been Gone. I haven't read this one yet, but I read this and I loved it, and I loved her writing style, just cutesy, contemporary, everything I want, and I want to read more of her stuff. I really liked it. So I'm going with Morgan Matson. Which leads me to the next one. The next question is your favorite new fictional crush. I decided to go with Clark from The Unexpected Everything by Morgan Matson. He was just super cute, super sweet. Like, I think a lot has to do with his and Andy's relationship, which I loved, and I talked more about in my book talk for this. I'll leave any book talk I had on these books, which quite a few of them do, I will leave in the description box below. But yeah, no, he was just super sweet, super cute. A relationship between him and Andy would be something I would love, and I loved reading about it. So yeah. But the next question is a fave new character. I decided to go with Apollo from the Trials of Apollo series. Again, I was just really surprised because I remember reading like the Percy Jackson series and thinking, oh my god, this god is so stuck up, like over the top, into himself, stuck up. I don't know how to feel about that. But reading the Trials of Apollo series and seeing his character growth and everything, it just has made me love him because he's still funny. He's still got that kind of stuck upness, but with the character growth, you get to see more of this kind of human side of him that's not this godly, I'm better than everyone else, one shtick thing. It kind of became more multi-layered, and it made me just fall in love with his character. The next one is a book that made you cry. Does this count? Because it made me cry over how horrible it was. But it's Ice Cream Queen of Orchid Street by Susan J. Gilman. I DNF'd this. Makes me want to cry because it's such a story I want to read, and this was not good. It's about this girl who flees to America in 1913 with her family from Russia. So she's a Russian Jewish immigrant in the early 1900s, and it's just supposed to deal with her, well, it does kind of show her growing up and starting this kind of ice cream empire, and added a little bit of romance, and that was totally something I want to read. I've mentioned it before, but I really want to read that story so badly, and kind of makes me want to cry over the fact that I hated the main character so much. She was so mean for like no reason, and I hated reading about her, and she was the narrator, and like she was mean. I hated this book. It did not make me want to cry. It made me want to cry, but not because it was sad, but because it was a book I wanted to read. It was not at all what I wanted, especially considering how much I freaking hated the main character. The next question is a favorite book to film adaptation. I had a hard time coming up with this one, but I decided to go with A Series of Unfortunate Events, the Netflix series. It's been years since I've read the actual book series, and I really want to reread them. But from what I remember, I thought the Netflix did a really great job of translating the books to show. I really liked the film adaptation years ago with Jim Carrey and all that, but I think doing a series has really allowed the books to shine on themselves, because as the series does, it did the first 3 books, and each book got 2 episodes, so they were really able to flesh out the characters and the storyline and kind of just follow through. And I really liked it. I loved the kind of just cinematography, the like whimsical darkness that kind of was with it, all the characters, and just I thought it was a really good adaptation from what I can remember. Next question is books that you've read so far that made you happy. I've decided to go with 2, and it's going to be The Upside Up Unrequited by Becky Albertelli and Once and For All by Sarah Dessen. Both were just cutesy, contemporary novels, and I love a good contemporary novel, if you had not tell by watching my channel. And these ones were just cute and adorable, and I was just so happy reading them. And if I want to be happy, this is the kind of thing I go for. And second The last question is the most beautiful book you've gotten this year. Don't have it on me because my friend is still borrowing it, but it's Geekerella by Ashley Poston. And I'll leave a link to the book talk I did on it because I did go over the cover of it because it was so pretty. But I don't really pick up books and go, man, that is a good like cover. But I picked up that one and went, man, that is a great cover. It's just the cover itself from the, I don't even know, but from like this flap to the back flap and the whole cover of it just basically tells the story of Geekerella. And I thought that was so cool, and it was done in such pretty colors and such like a minimalistic design that it was just so cool. And then when you opened up the book, not only that, but like I didn't talk about it in the book, but these pages were covered with like Comic-Con-esque stuff. And then the actual cover, the hardcover, was this such beautiful blue color. Had the insignia of the show that she loved and watched in it. And it was just so cool. And it was, I thought, just the attention to detail on it was so pretty. And I love that cover. And the last question is books that you want or need to read by the end of the year. I don't really plan ahead, but one I'm trying to kind of reread, slowly take my time with, is Sometimes a Great Notion by Ken Kesey. I read this, well, I was supposed to finish and read this in high school. I didn't quite finish it, but I remember I actually really liked it, and so in between books I've been reading a little bit more of it, and I'd like to maybe try to finish it by the end of the year. It's not one I'm putting much priority in, but it's been a nice little like palate cleanser in between book. It takes place in Oregon about some like a family who does logging stuff. I really can't quite remember, but I remember I really liked it, and it's just interesting. As you can see, I have read about 46 pages into it, so it's slow going. But I'd like to try to finish it by the end of the year. So we'll see how that goes. Another one I was just thinking I wanted to reread, hopefully by the end of the year, was Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, and I'm thinking I might do an Agatha Christie reread too, because I really like her stuff. Yeah, that was the tag. Lots easier to do than I thought, but it was a lot of fun, and I love watching those videos. So I wanted to do it, and we'll see how the rest of the year goes. Tell me, what is a book you are looking forward to for reading for the rest next year, whether it's come out already or it's just on your TBR pile. I want to know. But thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you again really soon. Bye!